on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
When I applied to Northeastern back in December of last year, I was extremely hopeful that I would be accepted. After attending high school in a small town in central New York, I wanted nothing more than to be back in the city where I had been raised. When I got my acceptance to the Nuin program, I was a bit dumbfounded. I'd traveled often in my lifetime, but I did not expect to do so for my first semester of college. I was upset to be leaving my family, who had just moved back to Boston, and my friends from high school, who would now be even more difficult to stay in contact with. Nevertheless, I decided to do the Nuin program, picked Australia as my location, and set off on a full day's journey from Boston to Melbourne. When I arrived in Melbourne, I was ecstatic over the vibrant, beautiful city that would become my home for the next 4 months. The streets were filled with beautiful architecture, street art, and thousands of people. Although I had some initial struggles with living on my own, I came to enjoy my independence and created a routine of doing my laundry and cooking my own meals. During orientation, I quickly got to know people and set out to explore the city, Swinburne campus, and everything Australia had to offer. Throughout the Nuin program, the group explored Australia through many excursions that helped us experience our journey to its fullest. In the first week, we went to Healesville Sanctuary and got to see the interesting and unique animals of Australia, such as kangaroos, koalas, and Tasmanian devils.
I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you.
Another excursion was to Phillip Island, where I took a plunge in the freezing ocean, climbed to the dunes, and explored the cliff tops. We took a drive along the coastline of Great Ocean Road, where we saw wild koalas and amazing views. Over spring break, a couple of friends and I went up to Queensland and the Gold Coast. We enjoyed many activities such as horseback riding, diving in the Great Barrier Reef, taking a tour of the rainforest, and walking along Cape Tribulation. Our final excursion was a weekend in Sydney, my favorite excursion from Nuin. Sydney is a gorgeous city, and its setting in the harbour reminded me of Boston and my love of the water. My friends and I saw the sights, took a jet boat across Sydney Harbour, saw penguins at the Aquarium Sanctuary, and breathtaking views at the top of Sydney Tower. It's a weekend I'll never forget. Nuin had us participate in many service learning projects, but my personal favorites were Bupa Around the Bay and Melbourne Cup. For Bupa, my group handed out medals at the finish line. It was extremely rewarding to congratulate the bikers on a job well done. At Melbourne Cup, one of the biggest horse races in the world, the Nuin group sold pins for a charity called Second Bite, which redistributes food that would otherwise go to waste to those in need. The goal of this charity really meant something to me, which helped me enjoy the day. Not only did we raise a ton of money for this wonderful cause, but got to enjoy the bustling atmosphere of the race that stops the nation. As someone who has worked with horses all my life, I loved seeing them in action and getting to meet a few of the champions up close. Overall, it was one of the best volunteer experiences I've ever had. My experience in Australia was unlike anything I could have imagined. It has made me rethink my status as a global citizen and consider the possibilities of doing more semesters, co-ops, and general travel abroad. I have made friends I will definitely keep upon my return to Boston, and memories I will reflect on forever. Despite any struggles I've had to overcome throughout my first semester abroad, I wouldn't change it for anything else in the world.